spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News: Kamala Harris has complicated history with Wall Street. Senior Kamala Harris of California, has a history of squaring off with the banking industry. The senator, with the Democratic base moving further to the left since President Donald Trump's election, the party's 2020 presidential candidate's relationship with big business and Wall Street are being subjected to intense scrutiny. There. New York Senior Kirsten Gillibrand. In a crowded Democratic primary field, Harris will be vying for liberal voters against potential candidates who have made cracking down on Wall Street their personal brand. Elizabeth Warren, Cal. Harris served as district attorney in San Francisco and as California Attorney General for 6 years each before being elected to the Senate in 2016. As Attorney General, Harris made waves in 2011 after pulling California out of national negotiations pursuing a monetary settlement from major banks for foreclosed households during the financial crisis. She believed she could. In her new book, Harris later reached a $25 billion settlement deal from J.P. Morgan and other banks. Harris later backed the California Homeowners Bill of Rights, a package of legislation to protect homeowners during the foreclosure process. The legislation, in 2017, her first year as a U.S. Senator, she introduced a bill alongside fellow Democrats Elizabeth Warren and Dianne Feinstein targeting executives at big banks. Entitled, Still, liberal critics allege that in many cases, Harris was too restrained when going after the financial industry. People who support. After negotiating the $25 billion settlement deal, Harris also introduced a special task force to prosecute mortgage and foreclosure fraud. However, in 2012, the California Department of Justice found in an investigation that One West Bank participated in widespread. The One West issue was resurfaced in 2017 when Mucci was nominated to serve as Treasury Secretary. She was also in a 2017 interview with Harris pushed back against criticism of her decision. Harris has pledged to not accept money from corporate PACs for her campaign, falling in line with a trend that gained steam in the 2018 midterms. Still, there are signs that Harris plans to fund her presidential run with more than small dollar donations. Her campaign organization received at least from the securities and investment industry over the past 2 years. In addition, Alma, the former Obama strategist, pointed out that Harris has done a really. If Harris can frame her Wall Street ties in a similar fashion, I got a confidential news tip. We want to hear from you. Sign up for free newsletters and get more CNBC delivered to your inbox. Get this delivered to your inbox, and more info about our products and services. Copyright 2019 CNBC LLC. All rights reserved. Data is a real-time snapshot. Data is delayed at least 15 minutes. Global business data also provided by
Raindrop, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.